Okay, let's just jump right in. Have you ever been doing something totally normal, like washing your hair or just staring out a window, and your mind just checks out? It goes somewhere else, somewhere super vivid, super detailed, and completely separate from the real world. If that sounds like you, then you're in the right place.
I mean, think about it. You're in the shower, right? The water's running and bam, you are in the middle of a full-blown argument. And it's not just a quick thought. No, this is a detailed, scene-by-scene takedown where you say all the perfect things. They finally understand. And for once, you actually win.
Or hey, maybe you're driving. Your mind starts to wander and you're replaying that conversation with your boss from like 3 weeks ago. Only this time, you deliver the most brilliant, perfectly timed comeback. In your head, it's a mic drop moment. There's silence, maybe even some grudging respect, and then honk! And just like that, you snap back. You're in the fast lane, staring straight ahead, caught in the glow of a victory that never even happened. You are completely gone, living out a whole scene in your head so vividly that the real world just kind of faded away. If that feeling, that sudden jarring jolt back to reality feels a little too familiar, well, then you already know this isn't just some passing thought. This is something else entirely, something way, way deeper.
See, what's happening here isn't what people usually mean by daydreaming. For a lot of us, this isn't just a habit, it's a place, a fully formed inner world that you can actually retreat to. And when you're in there, it doesn't feel like a problem. Honestly, it feels like relief. So what is actually going on up there? Let's talk about the brain science for a second. There's this system called the default mode network. You can think of it as your brain's own personal storyteller. It's the part that kicks into gear the moment you stop focusing on the outside world and it starts generating memories, future scenarios, and replaying old conversations.
Okay, so here's the key difference. For a lot of people, this network is like a light switch. It turns on when your attention wanders, and then it flips right back off when you need to focus. But for those of us who get really immersed in these daydreams, that switch flips on, and it kind of gets stuck on. That inner world becomes the brain's preferred setting.
Now, there's a clinical name for this, maladaptive daydreaming, a term from psychologist Eli Sommer. But listen, the key word here isn't maladaptive, it's immersive. This isn't just a distraction. We're talking about a deep dive into whole worlds with characters and complex storylines and emotional arcs that can go on for years. So why? Why is this inner world so incredibly compelling? Well, it's because over time, your brain can start to see it as way more rewarding than the real world. Your own imagination can actually become more satisfying than your reality. And this slide really breaks down why. In your head, you have total control. You can pause, you can rewind, you can fix things until they're perfect. You finally get that emotional closure you never got in real life. You can build connections that feel completely safe without any of the risk or messiness of real people. And maybe most importantly, you finally feel seen and heard.
But, and this is a big but, here's the turn. Because what starts out as a safe place, a fortress you build to protect yourself, can eventually start to feel more like a prison. There is a hidden cost to living so much of your life inside your head.
And the really dangerous part is this. Your brain learns a lesson. It learns, hey, I don't actually need the real world to get my emotional needs met. And once that belief takes root, real life starts to feel, well, flat. It's messy and unpredictable and often disappointing in comparison. So you just go back inside, again and again.
This kicks off what you could call the shame loop. First, you escape into that inner world. Then comes awareness, that oh crap moment when you snap out of it and realize an hour has just vanished. That immediately leads to guilt, this wave of shame for being gone again. And that awful feeling of shame, That's often the very thing that pushes you to repeat the cycle and escape all over again. But I need you to listen very closely, because this is the most important part of this whole thing. It is time to reframe how you see this, because this incredibly complex inner world you've built, it isn't what you think it is.
Let me be absolutely clear. The ability to do this is not a character flaw. It is not a sign of weakness or laziness. It is not even close. Your brand did something genuinely incredible. It realized there was a need for safety, for connection, for being understood that just wasn't being met by the outside world. And so, it built you a sanctuary. It created a brilliant survival mechanism. So let's look at this in a new light. The ability to create entire worlds with this much depth and emotion is not a problem that needs to be fixed. It is a rare and powerful sign of a rich, complex inner life that, frankly, most people could only dream of having.
So the question isn't, how do I stop this? That is absolutely the wrong question to be asking. The real work is about asking better questions, to understand what this amazing part of your mind is actually trying to tell you.
The goal isn't to kill off your inner world. I mean, that would be like trying to get rid of your imagination altogether. No, the goal is to listen to it. Your mind isn't being random here. It is pointing directly at your deepest, most unmet needs.
So maybe you can start by asking yourself this. In those daydreams, what does that feeling of connection give you? What feeling is it satisfying that you're maybe too afraid to ask for in your real life?
And then ask yourself this one. All those perfect conversations, those heroic moments you play out over and over, what are they a rehearsal for? What are you practicing in the safety of your mind that you haven't yet found the courage to actually live out in the world?
And if any of this is hitting home, I really want you to hear this. You adapted. You found a way to survive emotional loneliness or chaos or neglect. You did it quietly, privately, in a way no one ever saw, and no one ever gave you credit for it. But you got through.
So it all comes down to this final question. Remember, nothing about you is broken. You just have a decision to make. Do you want to keep this rich, vibrant, incredible world locked away inside forever? Or are you ready to slowly and carefully start bringing some of that magic back with you into the real one? That's the real choice.